I'm going to extend a little bit on my previous video when I was talking about people not tolerating pain and how pain is the greatest teacher. It allows us, it's a blessing and a tool from God for us to reach higher levels of consciousness. And if you look at the prophets throughout history, Jesus being a prime example because so many people in America are Christians. The main point of Jesus, the main lesson from his story is you're supposed to tolerate pain to get to next higher levels of consciousness. But the problem is not only when people don't want to tolerate pain, they get attached to this illusion, to the matrix, to the slavery system, and they get attached to so many worldly things. They become full of fear. They get attached to people, things, materialism, and these things that are just imaginary, and they seek external validation. Not only that, the other issue is when we are incapable of tolerating pain, when we don't practice tolerating pain, what we do is we try to uh, project that on others. We always try to blame. So when we get validation and approval from the outside, we feel okay. We get uh, temporary moments, periods of relief from that pain. So we think we're doing okay, but then the universe tries to teach us again and help us grow, and we are not receptive towards tolerating that pain. So what we do is we project it on others. We always try to uh, blame something or someone because internally we cannot feel enough. We don't feel validated internally. And when we are experiencing pain, just like when we feel okay when we get external approval, when we don't get external approval, we don't feel okay, and we think that's also coming from the outside. When in reality it has nothing to do with the outside world. It's actually just uh, not being awake, you know, not being aware, not knowing that that pain is trying to teach us, that it's trying to help us grow. So what we do is we panic, we become full of fear, full of stress, full of worry about the future, full of feeling of not being enough. So we start attacking others in ways that we can't, and that's part of what evil is. We start attacking others, and we start to take advantage of others in various ways that we can't even understand or imagine at the moment when we're actually in when we think we are having an okay time. But when we actually do it and we're like, I never thought I was capable of that. When somebody kills others, when somebody is raping kids or whatever, and sometimes it's not even as clear as that. Like we take advantage of others, we get relief, so we think what we did was good without knowing we actually hurt somebody. We actually blamed, we projected our issues on others. And what happens is the laws of the universe, which we all should be familiar with, and most of it, if all of it is in the Quran, if we are actually familiar with the Quran, but you don't have to read the Quran if you're just so anti-Islam. Uh, if you just study the laws of the universe, you'll realize you can't just get away with it. So what happens is the laws of the universe come back to us. The law of karma, for example, and the law of I can't remember the term right now, but everything is related. Not one thing in the universe happens without it being connected to everything else across the world. The butterfly effect. So it comes back to us, and something bad happens, whether it's losing a child, whether it's getting in a car accident, whether it's anything, just anything terrible. And the first thing we think of is, why me? Why did the God, this is so unfair, why did this happen to me, blah blah. We never ever hold ourselves accountable. We never remember all the times that we actually hurt other people. Like if you're familiar with what had happened to me, that there was a group of people that planned and uh, actually completed my kidnapping using the FBI and constable, not having done anything illegal, of course, and they kidnapped me, try to kill me, but that's a separate story for a different day. But like, even if I don't even have to do anything myself. Like, sooner or later, if it hasn't already happened, the laws of the universe, a law of karma, will get them in ways that they never even thought was possible. Because those people, they're like demonic entities, whether they're demons or they've been possessed by demons or they were going through an episode of being possessed by demons. Uh, they majority of them, probably all of them, they don't believe in God. So they think everything is attached to this world. They don't believe in a higher power. They're not familiar with the laws of the universe. So they think, okay, if the karma hasn't hit them yet, they think, oh, I got away with it, whatever. But there's a spiritual realm and there's a higher power, and sooner or later it catches up to them, and then they're caught off guard, and it hurts them in ways they never even thought was possible. And I've experienced, like, I've seen this shit firsthand so many times throughout my life that I just can't. There's no doubt in my mind. I cannot reject it. There's been too much evidence, and for those that can't see it yet, they're just deaf and they're blind. Because if you actually have ears that listen and eyes that see, that's what this whole tattoo is, the all-seeing eye is. If you have that, then you realize it's there. And if you don't see it, I just feel sad for you. A lot of people think that the belief in a God is just this imaginary thing that people just believe. It's blind faith, and people believe without something that they haven't seen. But God shows himself in so many different ways. We just reject the signs. And it's mentioned throughout the Quran so many times that we give you signs, you just don't accept it. Even if we sent you angels, you wouldn't accept it. You would just say it was magic or whatever, or my eyes tricked me, whatever. You would make up some excuse, because when your heart is closed to the idea of God, no matter how much evidence God gives you, you won't be receptive. Like, people, disbelievers, they expect God to show himself in the form. I don't even know. Like, what do you expect God to show himself as? Light? We have light, just this huge thing that overtakes the whole world. Then that would be the end of the world, and we wouldn't exist anymore. So, like, I don't know. It gets complicated. But the main point of this video was the idea of tolerating pain. And when we don't tolerate pain, it actually hurts us more than anyone else in so many different ways. Not only we don't grow, not only we become trapped in this matrix, in a world of delusions, but also we project our pain on others because we can't tolerate it. And when we project our pain on others, we hurt them, intentionally or unintentionally. And when we hurt others, the laws of the universe says that shit comes back to you through the law of karma, through the law of interconnectedness, butterfly effect, and so many. Like, the laws of the universe are many. So I would just say study them. But yeah, that's all I got to say.